introduce them here in a second. Thank y'all for coming. I'm going to scream through this today for y'all. My goal is to get done with this in 25 to 30 minutes, so you have time to talk briefly with your team, and you're out the door in an hour. Because the parking is going to be chaotic with y'all going out and the other group coming in. So I'm trying to save y'all a little bit of headache to be able to get out before it starts getting really busy. We'll be having a couple of social events and stuff like that coming up as well. So, as we start always, very quickly, we're going to do a quick prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. God, please help us lead these young ladies to be better people and even better volleyball players. Please guide these coaches to make good decisions. And please guide the girls to make good decisions as well. In your name we pray, amen. Okay. So the staff, now the first thing to start off with is we have a very small staff. So we got Leon, who is the owner. Leon owns all of Stars. So he owns the Houston Stars and the Katy Stars side. I'm partnered with Leon on this side. I'm the director on this side. Tracy is over there. Tracy, raise your hand. Tracy is our operations director. So when you work, yes, please give her a hand. Tracy will be the one that you'll get emails for like gear, all that kind of stuff. So you'll see a lot of communications coming from Tracy. Okay, that'll be coming from the Houston Katy side proper. So you'll see it going from both sides. As far as Erin is the assistant on this side with the Katy side. Erin's playing for Athletes Unlimited. She's in California right now, I believe. Arizona, same thing. And so she's playing pro, living the dream right now. So you'll be getting emails and stuff from Erin. You won't see see Erin. She's also playing a second round for the new pro team. Is it Love that she's playing in? San Diego. See, I knew she'd be going to California. But she'll be communicating with you guys. She'll be back in March, and she'll be back in the gym with all of us at that time. But I told her, if you can play, go. So she's doing what she loves to do. So the coaches, Kurt will be here in a little bit. He's our 11s coach. Our 11s aren't here tonight. Our 12s, Eric, raise your hand. Mallory, raise your hand. That's our 12 elite coaches. Our 13 elite coach, Chanel, raise your hand. And Lauren is not here, but Lauren played for me at 16s at Katy United a long time ago. She's graduating from A&M. Awesome coach, super excited about her. 14 elite, my wife, Alicia, and her assistant, Briley. Briley was also a former player of mine at Katy United, and she's graduating from Texas Lutheran. So she's banging it out in the back end of her season. She'll be here in January, so we're excited to have her on staff. 14 national, Bianca, and 14 assistant is Morris. Bianca got food poisoning. She just texted me, so Frankie will be Bianca, as scary as that sounds, and he will get you guys signed up with that team. Morris was Jalen's dad, who played for me last year. Morris has been in the game a long time, and so now that his kid's in college, he's coming back to coach for us, so we're excited about that. Our 15 elite coach is Kat. She's at boys practice tonight. She couldn't make it, but we already know Kat. And her assistant coach is Elise Arrow Tryon. She's a big, tall girl. Playing for, where did Elise play for? UNLV. And she's out of town on vacation. Arkansas, same thing. So she's on vacation right now. She'll be coming back. So neither one of them are here. So I will be the 15th coach when we meet briefly at the end. I apologize in advance. Our 15 national coach is Bill. He's on his way right now from practice. And Deja, which we want to keep Deja's grandma on her prayers. She had a stroke this morning. So Deja's not going to be here tonight, but she does exist. And Bill will be here briefly as well. So we already know that Alders, you don't need to know that. We do have Shane here somewhere. I don't know where he went. He's way in the back with his hands. So positional. So what we're looking at, and on your page, some of these things might differ a little bit because we've adapted some things. And I'll talk about the start date in a second too, but we're looking at doing positionals on Sundays. So what we geared for last year was practices run like Monday, Sunday, or Tuesday, or whatever. And people want to go to church. We're a faith-based organization. And it was really difficult to do positionals in different gyms. It was a challenge for us. So what I felt was best was, let's get the 2 practices during the week. That leaves our Sundays open. If something gets closed, something gets canceled, we can make those practices up. Those Sundays open back up. So we're going to look at doing, in the first week of practices, we're going to start on the 18th. And we're going to look at starting practices in the positionals on that Sunday. So on your sheet, I think it says the 10th. And that's because that's the Houston side start date. That's not the Katy side. So we're starting on the 18th. I'll send all that stuff out. So facility update. So this is why if you email me and I haven't responded, don't take it personally, email me again. Because I'm buried trying to get this thing open for you guys to start on the 18th. We just signed on this probably about 2 weeks ago. If you would have seen this building, it looked like that color up there, whatever that is. I'm a guy, is that teal? So the whole building was like teal. So we came in, we've been painting, there's parents that have been coming in, we've had staff come in, Gary in the back, wherever you are, Gary. Gary will be our facility guy, he's gonna be here as well. We've been working day and night. There was a structure in the back of there. Has anybody been to this gym before as a gym side? So remember that big wooden thing over there? If you know who built that, let me know. Because they did all different kinds of screws in it. It was like 1,000 pieces of wood. It was the most visual experience in my life. I'm very Catholic, but I definitely broke out a couple of words of choice because it was visual. It was like changing bits every time. So we got the whole thing down, but it took about 3 days. Once we got that down, we've been buried. So this is what the facility will look like when you walk in, not this right. We're going to have flex flooring, so they kind of like what they had at if you've ever been at Gladiator's place, that it's the flex flooring. So it's like, it's not wood, but it's really nice. And what? T4. Anyways, so we'll have 2 competition courts kind of facing the flag, so they're going this way. And so we'll have 1 big basketball court coming across, and then we'll have 2 middle school basketball courts going this way. So basically the volleyball courts will be inside the basketball court, so we'll have plenty of room to play. We had the option to do 3 courts. I think it's better to have 2 and have room to play. I mean, we want kids to hustle, we want kids to run, and having a court right next to each other, it just doesn't be feasible. So we did 2 competition courts. We'll have tournaments out of here as well. We'll also have pickleball. So if you're a pickleball fan, we'll have pickleball. The main thing for us is the club is going to be in here from 5 to 9, Monday through Thursday, and then programming and all that stuff to start cranking out Friday through Saturday and Sunday. And we're open during the days for lessons. If you don't want to rent a court for your kids, whatever, that's what we're trying to crank out. In the back, we're going to have a turf area. It's about 60 by 60 or 60 by 100. So we'll be able to do, conditioning out there. I know that makes you girls real happy when I say that word. But you've got soccer stuff out there and what have you. We're also looking to build 2 beach volleyball courts in the back as well. Up above us will be the VIP room. We're walling up this area so it'll be closed off. And so we'll have a membership deal so that parents that are here, if they want to go upstairs, we'll get faster Wi-Fi. We'll have leather couches, big screen TV. We'll have a golf sim upstairs where you can play. It's a really high-end golf sim for golf lessons. And then we'll have a coffee bar for the ladies as well up there. So the whole upstairs will become a membership thing. We felt as an organization, the club is going to subsidize a pretty good portion of the snow. It's not going to cover all of it. And instead of having people just kind of hang out there, we figured we'd make it something nice where as a parent, if you got to work, you can go up there in a quiet area, and it just kind of gives you kind of place to decompress during practice rather than just sitting down in the cafe here and watching the whole time. Down here will be concessions. We'll have a little seating area. The seating for the tournaments will be down the middle on both sides. These are the chairs that will be around for the kids to sit on and so forth. Am I missing anything on the facility side? Did I cover every area? So we're still in the phase. The floor should be here next week. As soon as we get done digging the lines for the concessions, breaking concrete and all that stuff. So we're excited, but it's a lot of work. So pardon our mess, but believe it, it's a lot cleaner than it was 2 days ago. So if you know anybody that came in and volunteered, they've been sweating, painting the whole 9 yards. So we're very blessed. The main thing with Katie that we kind of drive home is we're a family. And what makes it cool is people just coming in and hanging out for 10, 15 minutes, just helping out, grab a brush, paint a stroke and leave, or stay here till 9 o'clock at night. We're in it together, so it's kind of how we roll. Let's see, the golf side outside, okay. Oh, the parking is gonna be the biggest thing with us. And you can see it from today, that's kind of why I'm gonna hammer us out today. During the week, this could be pretty crowded. We've got the Ninja place, and parents, you're welcome to go Ninja if you want to. Volleyball school is down the street, and then we've got other businesses in here, so it's gonna be a little bit tight on parking. But we only have 2 teams practice here and flipping the 2 hours, so it won't be as bad. But you might want to plan ahead to kind of be gearing on where you're going to park. So we already talked about the coaching list. So what the goal is, and what we talk about is, the number 1 goal is to make your daughter a better person and a better volleyball player. I believe strongly in why I do this. I'm not doing it for financial reasons. These guys get paid the same I do. I literally do this because I love the sport, I love these kids, and I have a vision that I want to share. It's that simple. And so what we talked about is kind of what Katie Stars was and what kind of popped in my brain, which you ever want to be in there, but in my brain is faith and mind. We have faith. I think it's a big part of who we are. I think I'm not going to push anything on anybody, but I think it's important to say for everyone. So I'll be thankful for what we're gifted with, what have you. I don't care what religion you are, or if you have a religion, it doesn't matter. Just every once in a while before a game, we're going to say a quick prayer and we'll go out and get after it. But I think that faith part is a big missing part of today's society. And the vibe is just, we just kind of roll with what we roll. I mean, we're a family. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and we got to stick together on it. We're going to make it through. And if you want to go to another club, then we're going to get you prepared to be in a better position when you go to that club. We want people that want to be here. And if your goal is to play for Skyline, then more power to you. We were going to train the heck out of your kid, and I hope she does make that top team. But I think, we have a cool vibe here, and I think we can play just as competitively. So to prepare the players to the next level, to install love for the game and how to play it, to build character. Character is a big deal for us. Training is one of our biggest things we're known for, to learn and learn how to be successful in the game of life. We talk about that with our kids. The game of life is, volleyball is just like life. You're not going to play every point. If you're not playing, find a way to get on the court. It's the same thing as applying for a job. You're not always going to get the job. So you have to keep working at it. So the game of life, 82 of executive businesswomen played sports as young women say the lessons they learned playing on the field or court have contributed for their success. I just think it's a cool quote. So the culture, one of the things that I push really hard is I fully understand this is an investment for everybody. I get it. I put kids through sports, at least my wife has put kids through sports. We get it. But our job is to train your kids. And if you start getting overly concerned on playtime, the track record of your team is going to normally go down. You've got to do whatever it takes to get the team to win. There's going to be times we can flip people, but when it comes down to a competitive situation in qualifier, we are playing to win. And I want to drive that home. We are trying to win that tournament. Now, I'm not saying if we're up by 50 points, we're not going to get somebody in. If we're up by 50 points, we don't score, whatever. But if we're up by a lot, and we're able to, our coaches know what they're doing, and if we have positions where we can get somebody in and out, then we're going to do that. But when it comes down to a bid, and the sad part of today's game is even these local tournaments, these regional wins, affect your regional tournament. Because now we're in a position where they only take the top 60 in the region to go into that committee, it might even be less than that, to get into that big category of regionals. So there's 9 times out of 10 we're having to play for winning, especially these top teams. So it's hard. But the reality is, and what I've learned, and if you look at the track record of our 18s team, we've medaled in every qualifier we played the last 2 years, and we've qualified both years, and we finished in the top tier of the nation on both those years. And the reason we do is that if my kid serves for a middle, one rotation and holds that rotation, that's normally the difference between getting a bid or winning a medal. Those roles are important. And kids have to understand the ability to die into a role, because that's what it takes. There's going to be times where your stud is not playing well and somebody's got to step up. When you're playing for somebody rather than trying to take somebody out, it changes the whole dynamic. The college coaches that I know, and I know a lot, they are watching the bench more than they're watching the court. Because if you're whining on the bench, they are not going to bring in the culture, because their job depends on their culture and their ability to win. So when you're on the bench, cheer. When you're on the court, bust your butt. And if you're having a bad day, then it's my job as a teammate to help you out to get you through that game. Because the win is what we're all trying to get. So playtime is something that, if you're upset about that, your coach should be able to tell you exactly what you need to work on to play. That is their job. And if they can't do that, then we have something that we can discuss and work on. For my kids, I'm going to tell you, I need you to do this, learn how to do this, and you got to get better at this. And when you do that, you're going to push that kid in front of you, and that's how you're going to work your way up. That's our jobs. And if we can't explain why we're doing what we're doing, then we do have an issue. So, faith moments. So, I don't know if many of y'all remember Pastor Tim. So, Tim moved to, here we go, I'll probably say the wrong state again, Arkansas? It is Arkansas, right? Nobody knows. It's Arkansas. So, Tim moved to Arkansas. He's going to do some faith moments back here. He's going to be coming back in town some. We'll have some online. I'm going to try to go up to Tim up there, and we're going to try to film some of them in advance. I think the faith moments were really good last year. I just think we need more of them. So we're going to try to do once a month. And it'll be before the training, so we're not knocking out the training time. But I'm going to try to install more of that. It's just time is limited right now. We're just trying to get this building open and everything else we're trying to get in. The faith is really important. We'll make it happen. It's just how it's going to work. We'll work it. So practices, we talked about it starting on November 18th. The practices will be either here at St. John the 23rd. I'll make sure to send that stuff out. The times of practices, it's very difficult with everybody's schedules and all these gyms trying to coordinate to make it convenient for everybody. So for instance, with St. John's, everybody at St. John's is practice here is like 6:30 to 8:30 or 7 to 9 area, because we're all practicing at the same time. So the youngers in the front part of the season are going to be practicing a little later in the evening. I can't control that until basketball's done. When basketball's done, I can adjust that. And the same thing is here, because we've got a couple of coaches coaching 2 teams. So they have to go back to back, which complicates it as well. So I have done everything physically, mentally possible to make sure everybody's in the best we can, but I need y'all to kind of bear with us a little bit as far as like having to be a little bit later or having to come in a little bit earlier. It's just a time factor of making sure everybody gets their 2 hours. Our cell phones, when you get here, not the parents, y'all can have your phones, y'all are good. When the kids get here, they need to put the cell phones away. I know for me personally, and I know I'm pretty sure the coaches, we talk about the coaches meeting, the last thing I want is to give you like a 2-second water break and have somebody grabbing their phone. The phones need to go in their bags, put them up, you got 2 hours. This is what I stress to kids. This is your time to get away from everything else in the world. You don't have to worry about your homework, you don't have to worry about studying, stress, you're not allowed to have boyfriends during season, so that doesn't matter. And you know, whatever you got going on, when you walk in the gym, this is your time to turn it off for a little while and just worry about volleyball, and that's it. So phones need to be up. Please put your cover shorts on. We don't know what's all around this neighborhood right now, so I don't want us walking out in spandex all the time. So put your shorts on or your warm-up pants. We've got nice warm-ups that look cool, so you can still wear them. We're at qualifiers, put your pants on. I know it's a qualifier, I know everybody else is doing whatever, it doesn't matter. When we walk out of that gym, put some cover shorts on, put your shorts on, be an athlete. Like to me, I'm more threatened by an athlete wearing cotton sweats than I am somebody walking around with a spandex, because that's an athlete. Get your body warmed up and covered. Please make sure you wear your practice shirts. I know that sounds simple, girls, that y'all have to wear matching shirts, but it looks good, and it's just something, it's a task that you have to do every practice to show that you're dialed in. Okay, reps and repping. I know this is tough, and I say this every year. I like the menus. Okay, so with the reps, the biggest thing we want to talk about is please don't approach the refs. I don't want refs coming to me and saying things about our club. Last year we had a couple instances of people like going ballistic, and that's not our vibe at all. They're human beings. They may not be great sometimes at what they do, but they're still up there trying, and we're really low on good refs. And the more we yell at these good refs, the more these guys are going to bail out, and the worse it's going to get. So the reality is, if it's bad, just, it happens. Life happens. There's things that happen to us, you get in a wreck. Can't control it, it happens. They have a bad day, it is what it is. Yes, it affects us, but at the long range goal, they're human beings. Please, if you've ever stood on a stand and had 30 people yelling, it's miserable. So please understand, please don't yell up there. If we do it, we're coaches, that's the relationship between the coaches and ref. We should not be doing that unless it's really bad. And if it's really bad and they're egging it on, then let us voice for you. Let us defend your kids. The kids don't need to do it. Y'all don't need to be yelling at refs either, because the more you do it, if we get that rep again, they're gonna get you back. And I'm telling you, I've been doing this a long time, and if you watch me, I'm always high-fiving refs, talking to them, because I just need one call every once in a while. It's a borderline call, and if I'm nice to them, they will lean our way sometimes. But the reality is, please don't yell at the referees. Let us do our gig. Frankie, no yelling at the refs. So we all know. But again, we just don't want that culture. You know, I know it gets frustrating. Don't yell at the kids on the court and don't yell at the refs. Just enjoy the game, do you, and let us roll. As far as the reffing, this is for the girls. Do not leave until everything is done. If your coach gives you a 10-minute break, then go together for 10 minutes and be back. Whether you're reffing or not, you should be by your court. If you're not reffing, you should be scouting. All right, or hanging out with your teammates. When you're in the gym, you're in the gym together. So unless you're going to the bathroom and back, you need to be together as a team. So score and ref training. So I'll send out a date probably the next week. I've already talked to Joe Campbell. I needed to see what day we were open here to set that date. So I will most likely pump that out in December. It'll be a one-night deal. I'll send it to y'all in advance before it goes public, so you guys can sign up. We need how many scorekeepers? 3 scorekeepers and how many refs? It's probably not a thing, but one or two. I know I push the coaches to ref as much as possible, just because that way the coaches have an adult to talk to. But lining and stuff like that, scorebook is huge, because if you don't have somebody that knows what they're doing, it makes the match, especially when it happens to you. You know, we want the kids to know what they're doing, and it makes it way less stressful. We'll also have a scrimmage in January. I'm not sure about the 5th. That date may roll. We'll see. But we'll have an in-house scrimmage, and they rate everybody right then, and you're done. So that's an easy thing to do, too. Scorekeeper clinic, there's just the details on it. I'll send this out. And the referee stuff. And parents, if you want to R2, if you want to learn how to do it, get your cert, we can put you on the roster. It's always helpful. We have assistants in every team, but there's other times where somebody can't be there, so having somebody, if you want to do it, it's a good way to learn the game, makes it enjoy a little more if you understand it. So, traveling, families are responsible for all the travel and lodging. The hotels is the biggest thing I want to drive home today. You're going to be getting emails pretty quick here. The way the scheduling works is changed over the last 5 years. And I'll give you an example. AAUs. In the past, probably 2 years, it's changed the whole dynamic, because at AAUs, what you would do is if you didn't qualify at regionals, you would register for AAUs. That's the way it's been as long as I've been a coach. This year, it was full in March, before it even got to regionals. The tournaments and the divisions are filling within 3 minutes. Erin was on the computer and registered for one tournament, and we were number 1 on the wait list, and she did it when the ticker hit. So it's just, there's so many club teams and teams going at it right now, it makes it more difficult. So that's why we waited on the schedules, because I wanted it to be confirmed, because I wanted to make sure we're in it. I didn't want to change anything. There is a paper schedule in the folder you're getting that's got the Stars logo. That is the most current schedule that y'all will get. So there might be a couple of changes from the one on the right with the roster, because I just printed it today, because we were able to move a couple things to make things work better. Okay? So as far as the hotels, you're not in the tournament in the USA unless you're a stay and play. So we've got to get everybody to block the room. You do not have to pay for it. Just go in it and reserve it. When everybody's reserved it, that pings them. That's what triggers them to finalize our acceptance in the qualifier. So some people can get bumped if they don't do that. That's why we're pushing this stuff out so quick. Does that make sense to everybody? So you'll get, just watch your emails, because they'll be coming pretty quick here. Erin will be saying, hey, here's your block number and what have you. That's what finalizes everything. Now the bigger clubs, it doesn't matter, they know they're gonna get in. The smaller clubs are the ones that get bumped a lot of times. And we've been blessed not that to happen, but I don't want that to happen. As far as your flights, as soon as those hotel rooms are booked and they solidify, book them. And these tournaments we're in on your schedule now, so if you book a flight, that's fine. I know it saves money, but if you wait a week or two before those hotel rooms get booked, that just makes me feel a little bit better. But we're in those tournaments, firm. By the way, there's an app out there right now that everybody's looking at. That does not have to do anything with us. So when Erin looked at some of these tournaments, she was booking some of these tournaments to lock down multiple options for us to look at people's schedules. So that app is like, oh, you're going to Hawaii. I'm like, we're not going to Hawaii. So, I would. But that's not what we're doing. So be careful on these other things that are out there. It's going to come from me directly when the stuff comes out. We'll have it in league apps. There's a calendar rolling on this deal over here. It'll have all the tournaments coming up and stuff like that. But I will push it out. And we are moving as quickly as humanly possible. You got to remember that we're a small club, and I'm dumping as much possible into the coaches in this building to get us up. So there's not 2 of you, thank God. And same thing with Erin. We already talked about the scrimmages. The one thing about the scrimmages, that is where we're going to play everybody. That is where we're going to give everybody a chance to do multiple things and so forth. The trigger there is to prepare. Now, as coaches, we get competitive, so a lot of times I'll turn the scoreboard off because we just can't help ourselves. Like we go down by 2, we're like, oh, we won. So we're going to make sure that's not scored, and I will let you in January and let you know when we're doing that. Huddle and game tape. I'll have the huddle information probably out in about 2 weeks. I've already got everything dialed in. I just got to send it out. Huddle is just for the 15s through 18s. I'll let you know which teams are doing it. It's for the top teams on Huddle because it's really expensive. It's like $5 or $6 grand a team. And then we also have Sports Recruit as well that we'll be sending out as well for your recruiting stuff. YouTube for the younger kids. At this point in time, most of what the kids are doing at the younger ages is watching game tape. And there's no reason to pay for a recruiting software that much money when you're just watching for game tape. And I've watched clubs for years, and a lot of the younger kids don't watch their game tape. So we will need a person that can volunteer to lead Huddle for each team that has it, and I'll send that out. Tournament rules. The main thing for tournaments is, like I said, be around for your repping stuff. Most coaches will do a team dinner one night. A lot of times if you're playing late, I advise the team parent to order something to be delivered at the hotel. So that when you roll out late, you can just eat at the hotel and hang out and go to bed, especially if you're flipping an early wave the next morning. Do not approach a coach during a tournament about playtime. And I know that sounds really simple, and I know it's hard sometimes when you're frustrated. That's exactly why you don't do it. As a coach, if I lose a game, my brain is processing why we lost and how I can fix it. And so if you distract me from that, I can't do my job, especially at a tournament. And secondly, and I tell this story all the time, I was at St. Pius a long time ago. Sorry, St. John's guys, but I was at Pius, and Agnes hadn't been beaten in 20 years. And I beat Agnes at Agnes, and it was like the deal. Like, we were super pumped. And kids are going crazy, jump on the floor, and I literally had a parent come up to me and ask me why her daughter didn't play. And it blew it. That was like a cool moment for me. And as a coach, this is what we do and why we do it. I know it's your priority as your kid, but you got to realize that coaches, like, it's a big distraction. Please. And plus, secondly, like, I don't know about you, but if I'm hot about something, it's the last time you want to talk to me. So, it's better to dial it down a little bit and have a conversation about it and fix it. So please don't approach the coaches about playing time. If you got a question about volleyball, talk to them. But just if it's something that's about playtime or something that's sensitive, wait. Please wait 24 or 48 hours. Please don't jump the referees. Coaches have their rules for the away games, so I'll let them delegate that stuff. Postseason. We're in Dallas this year for USAs. So if you qualify, you're going to Dallas. If you don't qualify, we're going to try to get into Patriot this year because it's in Dallas. So instead of trying to go to AUs, we're going to try to go to USA. It's going to save you a lot of money on travel, and it's still a great tournament if we can get in. It's not a guarantee. That thing's going to fill up within minutes. We're going to be sitting on it, waiting, and we're going to try to get it. If we don't get it, then we'll jump at USA at AAUs in Orlando, and then or Phoenix. We're those two. So those are the national teams. Now, if we have, like, for instance, the 18s. If the 18s grab big and qualify, then we'll trickle down that trip to the second team so they can go to AUs. And if a second team wants to go to AUs, all we do is just we meet about it. As long as everybody's on the same page about it, everybody pays a little bit of money, and then we register it, and you're going. So, let's see. Overnight travel, coaches talk about the curfew. If you're not going with your daughters, make sure she's with somebody on the team. 10-point strategy, I thought this was pretty cool. Consider practice a time for yourself and your health. Unless you're a coach, remain the parent. Let your child deliver moments in sports. Watch and enjoy the game. Get out in the backyard and toss the ball. That one's iffy. I know that doesn't. Some of the girls don't like that. Recognizing efforts of a team. Introduce yourself to the coach before there is a conflict. That's probably the coolest thing I can say all night long. Meet your coach so they know who you are. Because I was at a tournament last year in New Orleans, and I had a parent even in for one of my coaches, and he was like rifling. I think a couple of us saw it. He was pretty angry, and he blared out at me for a second. And I just kind of stuck my hand out. I'm like, I'm Preston. It's nice to meet you. Let's work our way. And then it was like he realized, like, I have no idea who you are. So make sure you introduce yourself to the coach. Your child learns sportsmanship from all of us. Take your daughter to see good volleyball and other sports, and encourage balance and time management. If you watch volleyball, watch all levels, but watch your position. Don't just watch the game. If you're an outside hitter, watch the outside hitter. Watch what she does. It's fun to watch the game, but as a player, you can grab things from these kids when they're playing. And also, if you're watching Olympic ball, they're probably doing things we can't do yet. So try some different levels. Social media. Please, girls, don't post things negatively on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, all the social media stuff. All right, it's gonna come back to us, and we don't want to deal with that. And it's not cool, and it will disrupt your team culture faster than anything else. Do not do it. Just don't do it. Parents, post away, as long as it's positive, please. We do have a Facebook page, and we have Instagram, so if you want to pop on there, it's always good we post stuff on there, so I would suggest grabbing it if you can. So the conflict procedure. So communication is probably one of the most important things that we're trying to work on this year. Please know that we're available to meet with the players at any time during the player's role. Please wait 48 hours before there's an issue. And don't do it during a match. Here's how it works. So kids, ladies, young adults, if there's a problem, your parents and you talk about it, we want you to go address it with the coach. Now I understand with 12s and 13s, that's a little bit more difficult. We'll work through that. But we want the kid to go talk to the coach first. Have a conversation, come up with a plan. If that doesn't work, meet one more time. If it doesn't work again, then you just sit down with your parents and the coach and figure out what's going on. If it goes past that, then that's when myself, or if I have a parent liaison that we're talking about, they will be involved from that point on. I have not had many of those. Normally, it's something you can talk with your coach about, and if the parents understand what's going on, that helps things. I'll talk about parent ed later. I think that's one of the most important things you can do. I suggest it, it's not mandatory, but if you understand the game, then some of these things go away. I've had somebody really upset that their daughter wasn't serving. They were really hot about it. I was like, you're a right side. You're not a setter. So we're in a 6-2. So when your daughter subs out, the setter's coming in, she's serving because she's the setter. And then they're like, oh. And then they weren't upset anymore. So there's a lot of these things like situational subbing and stuff like that. Like during a game, if it's 23-23 and I'm out of timeouts, I'm probably going to make a sub to stall. That's not because your kid made an error. It's because I'm trying to get the kid to serve out of bounds or at least give us a lollipop to run offense off of. So a lot of these strategy stuff, if you understand it, it alleviates a lot of stress. So, and it's the same thing, like I said, if your kid's role is something that's big, we'll explain that stuff. So, understanding is everything. Leon, wave your hand back there. I know you're way back. That's the owner, Leon, back there. All right, so times to approach the coach. Bad time, good time. All right, so if you want to go congratulate somebody, this is the time to do it. But if they're hot, don't do it. So parent ed, I just talked about that. We will offer those. I'll send that stuff out. It's not mandatory. What we discuss is like different terminologies, like understanding what some of these calls are. Like every parent on the planet thinks they're like double, and I'm like, it's going away. You know, so talking about what a double is too, because everybody's like, oh, the ball is spinning. I'm like, that's not always a double, right? So there's a lot to it. Terminology, basic defense and offenses, understanding why people are standing where they are. Like I've had parents who are like, how come there's never a kid in the middle of the court? I'm like, that's because the block should take that out. Like that kind of stuff and understanding is important. Positions, talking about who's playing what, why, coaching strategies, tendencies, and then a Q&A. So dismissal, we have no tolerance for drugs and alcohols by the kids. Y'all are good. I'd be kicked out. If your athlete is caught or proven with drugs and alcohol, they will be dismissed, and the parent will be financially responsible for the daughter's club fees. If an athlete is removed by the parents during a tournament, unless an emergency without previous permission from that coach, K-Stars will consider the athlete to resign from the program. Parents are always to be supportive of every team. If you already know that stuff, please just don't reflect this negatively. Socials. So I really want to try to get this off the ground. If there's a parent that feels motivated to help with this, as a rainy day fund. I mean, I think as a family, like people have somebody pass away. Somebody has, I mean, when the flood hits, like having some kind of fund that we can put together just for that kind of stuff. Like even if it's simple as somebody passed away sending them flowers. I just want to have some kind of rainy day fund to kind of help people out when they're having hard times. If you're having surgery, we'll buy you dinner a couple of days, something like that. This is kind of how we do it. And then the socials, so I've got a couple in the back of my head I'm working on. Once we get the floors down, I know this is horrible, somebody says I'm a party on the floors and get messy, but I'm gonna try to do either like a crawfish boil or something where we can all just kind of hang out, not talk about volleyball, and just enjoy the moment and let you meet each other. I promise you, if you meet some of the people around you, you're gonna be a better person. We have really good parents in this club. And so take the time to get to know people in other age groups and stuff like that. So we'll have a couple of those. They just opened up I live over kind towards Fulshire. There's a place that used to be called La Finca. Yeah. And so it's under Dude Management. The dude's really cool, and they have really good food now. It's better. So we might just do something, hey, on Friday night, anybody wants to come have dinner, come on, and just invite people out and go. But the more time we can spend each other not on the court, really helps things longer, because if you really know somebody, you can have better conversations with them. That's my disclaimer, so I don't get busted for copyright. All right, so for the team meetings, so all we're doing tonight, and again, I'm just trying to save you guys for the parking side. So all we're doing is we're going to meet with the coach very briefly. You can get together as a small group. They're going to come up with a team rep. They're going to come up with a couple of kids that are doing the referee things, and then we're going to get everybody's roster information as far as like emails and make sure we have everything tracked. And then you're free to go. Most coaches, like I know Shane, Bill, wave your hands. That's our 15 national coach. So I know Shane did a team dinner like how many nights ago, Shane? Like Thursday? And so he's already had his. All the coaches will organize something like that to do it outside. It may be something when we meet on the court and have like a light practice just for fun before we start. But that all depends on when these floors are down. But everybody will have time to get together with their teams. So Am I missing anything, Tracy? I hit it all? So 431.com is where you get your fan gear. Everyone should already order their uniforms, so we should be good on that side. If you have questions about that stuff, just go directly to Tracy. I'm not gonna know. And I wanna emphasize again, if I don't respond to you, I'm flooded right now with text and phone and emails. If I don't respond, just hit me again. I will get back to you, I promise. It's just a really busy time. When I get through open house next week at St. John's and this building being open, I will be human again and I can handle it. If I don't respond, CC Erin Fairs. Because she will keep me in check on it and say, hey Preston, you didn't respond to this, and I'll go back and do it. But sometimes if I do, like, when I send those things out from League Apps, if you respond to that, there's also like 9 or 10 other people that do it at the same time, and it comes into a layer, and sometimes I don't see it. So just bear with me, I promise we're gonna do everything we can to communicate as clearly as we can. Leon, anything?
Oh, good.
Are you playing with tools, Leon? You were playing with tools, I saw you. Anything else, Tracy, am I good? Okay. If you have something that's like super important and I didn't answer it, just let me know, stop and see me on the way out. Once y'all are done with your coaches, you wanna grab gear, I got us in time where you have at least 30, 45 minutes to be able to look through stuff, and then when you're done, y'all are released. So let's go Alicia's team over here. So 14 Elite, we'll go over here. You are 14 National over here with Frankie.